gonna take it. Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Alex Cuesta Show. How is everybody doing out there? Happy New Year, January 1st, 2026. My voice still isn't amazing. It's still not participating mostly, but I'm here. I wanted to do a New Year stream. So, hello to everybody out there. Nate, I see you already saying what's up. What's going on, Nate? And I just want to thank everyone for watching wherever they are watching from, whether it's YouTube, X, Facebook, Kick, or Rumble. Thank you. Make sure you give a subscribe, follow, whatever it is over there. A like if possible, comment, all that good stuff, because everything that you are able to do makes this pump up the algorithm. So that is the goal. Word of mouth is obviously the most important. Like, hey, saw this really lame streamer guy named Alex. He's semi entertaining, so go watch him. I would appreciate that very much. But yes, Happy New Year, everybody. I hope everyone was safe last night, and I hope if you did celebrate, you celebrated smartly. I'm hoping that if you also celebrated, then maybe you're not having any surprise September babies. That would be um, not ideal if you didn't want one. But if you did, I hope you got one. So I guess there's both of those. But yes, overall, I had a. Hold on, let me plug in my computer before it dies here. I had a pretty good New Year myself. It was my good New Year's are hanging out with the kids, trying to stay awake, and we ended up watching a whole bunch of like kids programming last night. And my wife nodded off. I nodded off. We kind of like in and out because it was boring, but watching it for the kids. My daughters are 7 and 5. But then when we got to um, the ball dropping spot around, I want to say 10 o'clock. So getting close to it, 10 o'clock, my youngest conks out. And that's fine. She's 5. And I knew that at some point they love Huntrix and K-pop Demon Hunters, so I knew that they were um, performing Golden or something. So I turned on the Dick Clark New Year special, and when they came on, my older one was like up and down, but my younger one was gone to the world. My wife was trying to wake her up and she's like all floppy. So that didn't happen. My older one enjoyed it, but we were able to get my younger one up for the ball drop. And it's just something nice about just spending time with the family sometimes. Maybe as they get a little bit older, we'll maybe go to some people's houses and stuff like that and do it together. But it was good. It was good. I had fun. Just hanging out with the family was needed. Just rest and relaxation. And then we're back on the grind. Today was a nice day off, but we had a little bit of snow here in New York. It was like a really stupid amount of snow. It was like less than an inch, but it was a covering enough where if you didn't do anything about it, you were screwed. And it was going to get like super iced over. So I had to go out there and shovel that little bit and finally break down all of my boxes from Christmas because we have a fuck ton of boxes. Um, but got all that done. So I was rather happy that was able to get all that done. Um, and just have a nice chill day. My daughter, we had a birthday party to go to on New Year's Day, which was fine because we're all off, and it was, the kids had fun. And outside of that, it was a good time. Nate coming in saying he's a 9-9 baby is his birthday. Turned 11 on 9/9/99 and 21 on 9/9/9. That's crazy. That's awesome. But yeah, no, we knew your parents were celebrating during the new year. So so yes, that's pretty cool. You can trace back as to when you were created almost to the dot, Nate. I don't know if you want to think about that, but yes, you can do that. I also want to thank Rollin Winger, who's caveatized, usually hanging out in the chat, but I mean, I'm doing many, many more of these just random streams. So I won't be surprised if he misses some. He's allowed to. But thank him for jumping on Tuesday. Obviously, I didn't do anything last night for New Year's Eve, but jumping on Tuesday, and we had a fun conversation talking about movies. We went over his top 10 on Critic List, and shout out to Blaine Andrews again in Critic List. They do awesome stuff. And we were able to talk about that. And then we talked about his books that are awesome. And I'm, planning on grabbing them because if you want to go and listen to all of his concepts, I would not do them justice right now because number one, I haven't read them. And number two, he can explain them much more. But he has four different unique books. Plus, he's working on a comic that I read the prologue for and really, really good stuff. So I highly, highly, highly recommend that you guys go back 2 days ago and listen to my conversation with Rollin, aka Caveat Ties over here. So Nate G saying, great show on Tuesday. Thank you. The hate watch. Throwing down the fucking gauntlet. What are my thoughts on Israel? My thoughts on Israel is they're there. They get into a lot of wars, and we shouldn't have anything to do with any of the shit that they do. They're obviously, they're we consider them one of our allies to the country. People may have differing opinions on if they are, but officially they're an ally. So diplomatic and possibly giving them some aid if they need it in terms of like attacks and stuff. But I am not a boots on the ground type of person for many things. So that's my thoughts on Israel. I mean, they exist. Are they? And if you're one of those Israel does everything type of people, you're barking up the wrong tree. Not a groiper. I don't think Israel is responsible for everything. You can go talk to Candace, Jake Shields, and everything. Hey, Watt saying, shut it down, boys. We got him. I appreciate that. Thank you, Hate Watch. Appreciate you. Good luck, buddy. Nate, I think we're gonna get bombed. I'm excited for this. But anyway, let's roll. So speaking of New Year's, I don't know which one any of you guys were watching. We threw on the Dick Clark one because, like I said, Huntrix is coming on. My daughters like Huntrix and stuff like that, and we were watching, and at the beginning, it goes to commercial, and oh, now I'm reading this. I think we're going to get mass reported. That's awesome. Let's do it. Anyway, but watching it, and then all of a sudden a commercial comes on. And it's one of those pharma commercials. But all of a sudden it's now, oh, we're going to talk about AIDS. And I had intercourse and I have AIDS and I live with it. And it's like, I'm no prude, right? I'm not one of those people that thinks we should like shelter our kids from everything because kids are going to hear shit. They're going to see shit. It's normal. But there's just something about it is the New Year's Eve, programming, right? Don't you think that they should curb some of their commercials? Like, I get it. If you're paying for a primetime slot as a pharma company, you're going to want them to be seen by typically adults are watching past the time of 8 o'clock. So I get putting those types of commercials on at that point. But when it comes to knowing that kids are going to be watching, right? Like my wife brought up today, the Super Bowl. Most people, the Super Bowl ads are what they are. People pay big slots, but I believe for the most part, they try to keep them family friendly, understanding that there are going to be kids there watching all of this stuff. But it didn't seem like they had that plan for the Dick Clark one. And I don't know. I don't want my kids to be going, what's AIDS? What's HIV? At 7 and 5. Like, I don't think that's a conversation. Not like where this. That's a conversation that I should be having to have with my kids that young and explaining that, hey, it's a sexually transmitted disease and it could kill you. Like, that's honestly where I would go, but, like, I don't feel like having to talk to them and then, "Well, what's a sexually transmitted disease?" "Oh, it's when people fuck." And it's like, no, I'm not gonna tell them that. I'm not gonna tell them that. Nate saying, "I think it's predominantly zesty people that watch TV like that now." Yes, yes. I think, people, but again, even that, like, I don't care if it's mostly adults, right? Like I said, adults, high school kids, things like that. Like, I get it. Who gives a shit? They're gonna watch it. They know what it is. But it's just like, kind of curb what you're doing when it comes to knowing that kids are going to be watching this stuff. So that bothered me. That bothered me. Just to see that, and it's like, come on now, we don't need to fucking see AIDS commercials when kids are going to be around. It's stupid. But another thing that happened last night that I saw today that I found pretty funny. Let me go and share my screen here. So this is from John Root. I don't know who Johnny Root is, but he says SportsCenter showed a live shot of New York celebrating New Year's, and ESPN anchor Scott Van Pelt gets weirded out by two dudes kissing and immediately tries his best to play it off. Millions of Americans were repulsed by this, Scott, too. And I don't know if people saw, but like they said, it goes, and first this starts off as, two, a man and a woman kissing, and even that, like, I get it. People kiss during the new year and stuff like that. But there does come a point where at some time, even for me, like, there's a little bit too much PDA at times. Like, I don't want to see two people necking. Like, whatever, you're kissing, that's fine. But then when it becomes like full out makeout sessions, like, that's fucking weird. I don't even care if it's New Year's. But let's see Scott Van Pelt and his reaction right here.
Yeah, live
One.
makeouts on SportsCenter. Get into it. Oh.
And then there was the two dudes.
What do we got?
And just look at Scott. Scott's like, fuck, man. Why does that have to be on my TV? Like, hold on. Let's go back. I don't even care about the dudes kissing. Let's see Scott's reaction one more time here.
Oh. What do we got? We got love in the air. Makeouts.
You know for a fact that once that went to commercial, he's like, fucking A, guys. What are we doing? What are we doing? Let's finish the clip here.
Tony and Mike on kazoos. Who's having a good time? Happy New Year, everybody.
Let's get it back.
Oh. What do we got? We got get into it. Oh.
There's got to be a meme somewhere.
What do we got? We got love in the air and makeouts.
Oh my God. He is trying his best to play that off and to make it seem as if like he's okay with it. He is so fucking grossed out. Oh my God. And here's the thing. I don't fucking care what people do in their bedrooms. But it's like, even going back to this, like, when it drops, like, what are we doing? Like, they're over here just like passionately making out. Like, and of course it's the interracial couple, right? Like, it's always like they went to both. Like, whatever it is, fucking ESPN went to both. They went to the interracial couple and then they went to the gay guys. Like, it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, live
Scott's reaction one more
makeouts on
time.
SportsCenter. Get into it. Oh, what do we got? We got love in the air and makeouts. Tony and Mike on kazoos.
That's so good, man.
Who's having a good time?
Just his reaction.
Happy New Year, everybody.
SVP just saw his job flash before his eyes if he didn't react any different. But man, it's just like, it's intentional. It's intentional. And nobody can argue and say that it isn't intentional because they don't have to. They absolutely do not have to show an interracial couple making out. They were on camera. These cameramen absolutely set these things the fuck up, right? They know exactly where they are. Yes, sometimes at like some live events, you get some random chance shit. But typically, these cameramen are positioned. They know what they're doing. They know where they're going. And it's like it's just so contrived too at times. And it's like they did this intentionally. Like interracial couple, gay couple. Like again, the second thing too, it's like I'm not a prude. But again, you're gonna have kids fucking watching that. And you're showing two dudes kissing. Like you could try and normalize that however you want. And again, I don't give a fuck what people do in their bedrooms. But to have me have to explain to my kids why are these two dudes kissing, and just be like, sometimes that happens. Like my kids didn't see that, and whatever, right? But I know a lot of parents don't want to have these conversations with their elementary age kids. There's some parents that do, and whatever. Raise your kids how you want to raise them. But there's a lot of parents that don't. And it's just something that is so forced and thrown in front of us at all times. It's bothersome. It's just abso-fucking-lutely bothersome. But it is what it is. New Year's was fine. I think 2026 is going to be an interesting time. We got work to do in terms of political shit. But, I mean, again, it's another year. Everyone dooms and glooms about what's going to happen next. But I really don't think we are going to see much next. But I want to talk about this because I find some of this shit funny with the way things are. Boom, let's share this. So, college football is coming to a close. We have the final 8 teams playing. 2 played last night, and 6 are playing today, and we're trying to get to the semis. People were complaining, and let me go up and share this. People were complaining because we had teams like Tulane and James Madison in. Fine, right? James Madison got worked 51-34. The score wasn't even that close. The game was out of reach very early. Oregon beat the holy hell out of them. Check. Okay. James Madison sucks. They don't belong. It's a blowout, not entertaining. You heard that. So not even paying attention to what happened today. Texas Tech has the bye. They go on to play Oregon. And then we have Bama playing a good game against Oklahoma. Oklahoma gets beaten. Bama advances. Indiana on bye. Then we have Ole Miss just running over Tulane. Okay, fine. And people are complaining, oh, Tulane, I told you, everyone. They're terrible. They don't belong. This is terrible, blah, blah. Georgia has the bye. And then Miami squeaks by Texas A&M 10-3 in a decent defensive game. Ohio State has the bye. Fast forward to this week, y'all. What happened, guys? What happened to all the, we only need certain, blah, blah, blah. You can't have these smaller schools in. This is where people are so stupid when it comes to college football, okay? Blowouts happen all the time. All the time. And it has less to do with if they're a group of 5 team or a power 4 team, okay? The talent disparity is wide in college ball. And look at it. Oregon played Texas Tech. Texas Tech has been a good team all year. Oregon had the first shutout in the playoff, I think, since the first year of the playoff. 23-0 in a Texas Tech, good Texas Tech team. Is anyone going to complain that Texas Tech was in? Are we going to be up in arms that Texas Tech got in? And now look down, Alabama got fucking wrecked by Indiana today. Indiana proved to the world that they are real, that it wasn't just a fluke, that they ran the table and won the Big Ten championship, that they are a legitimately good team. Mendoza's a legitimately good quarterback. I saw some dumbass stat that, Mendoza, most of his touchdowns were against non-good teams, and he sucked. He only had like 6 touchdowns and 5 picks against good teams. Pretty good fucking team he beat today. Pretty good team he beat today. Are we going to complain that Bama was in? Bama got blown out. Should they have not belonged? It's just all this dumb shit for people that just want to complain. Now we're looking down here. Miami, Ohio State wasn't that close in terms of competitiveness. It was a decent game. Now that game was last night, but Miami controlled that football game. Controlled the game. If you were watching it just from a competitive standpoint, Miami controlled that game. 24-10 is better. And now Georgia, Ole Miss are playing right now. Ole Miss just coughed the ball up, and it was closer. It was 14-12, and Georgia got a scoop and score. But I am so tired of hearing this dumb shit about, oh, Tulane doesn't belong. James Madison. Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. Okay? Maybe they don't. There is a potential Cinderella story that we're trying to add there. And maybe they don't belong. But you're telling me that this is much better? That this is much better? Because let's go. Do they have the... Let's go. Rankings. Okay, here we go. Open this in a new tab here. Let me go here. Because let's share this. Okay, here's the college football playoff rankings, right? So, was this for the final rankings? Okay. So they let Tulane in, they let James Madison in. They're all the way down there. The top 10 are here. Notre Dame, BYU. They would be the next two in. Now, I know Notre Dame fans are going to get mad at this. Notre Dame has been the biggest pretender of a major school ever in my life. In my life. They were great for a long time ago. They get into things off name alone. Because I agree here with Nate. Notre Dame can shove it, join a conference, bums. Yes. Because if they don't have to play a conference championship game, they shouldn't be allowed in. Period. Done. You're not allowed in. You have to at least have a conference championship game there. Nate also saying Texas Tech couldn't compete. No, they couldn't. Enjoy the process. It'll get better when they get a grip on the NIL nonsense, I hope. Here's the thing, it won't, though. And here's why it won't. Real quick. James Madison versus Oregon was fun for the memes alone. Yes. But here's the reason why it won't get better, Nate. The talent disparity in college sports is ridiculously wide. Okay? It is massive. Yes, Miami beat Ohio State. They did. Miami's also the best ACC team in the ACC champion. So the rankings are a little skewed there. The ACC wasn't very good, but it's not like they were a scrub of a team. Okay? And I saw this. I put some stuff up here, and I got a comment about what I said, and it's okay. But let's continue. I just lost my train of thought. But so let's look at this. So if Notre Dame took Tulane's spot, right? Notre Dame would have then played Ole Miss. In what fucking world would do you think Notre Dame would have beaten Ole Miss? No shot. No shot. Absolutely no shot did they beat Ole Miss. Ole Miss would have walked on them, okay? And I know Notre Dame fans are going to get mad at that, but they would have gotten friggin' walked on. Because I also want to look, let's look at these bums and their schedule here, okay? All right, let's go. They beat a bad Stanford team in November, 49-20. Syracuse, bad team, 70-7. Early on, they beat Pitt 37-15. That's a good win in retrospect. They're ranked. Navy, 49-10. Navy, they should beat. BC, trash team, 25-10. Okay? USC, good win. That's a good win. I'll give it to them. 34-24, good win. NC State, they're not that good of a team. NC State's not that good of a team. What were they, even this year? Are they 500? 8-5. Not great in the ACC, okay? Boise State, decent team. Boise State's a decent win. They're 9-5. They were best in the Mountain West. That's a good win. They beat them up. Arkansas. Arkansas is an SEC team. They're going to hang their hat on that, right? Arkansas is fucking 2-10. Okay? That's a shit law. That's a crap win. Okay. Purdue, 2-10. And then they lose to the only two tough teams. Come on now. And I get it, it was early they lost. Miami, who was the eventual ACC championship early. Texas A&M, who ended up being really good, 11-2. They lost to them early, right? But still, guys, they're losses. I don't care. They're losses. And I know people are going to say, well, it was early in the schedule. Okay, who the fuck did they beat after that? Who important did they beat after that? Boise's a good win. NC State's a good win. I mean, they're not power wins. It's not like Notre Dame played this unbelievable schedule. You put them in the Big Ten, though, they're going to have better teams to play. You go in the ACC, you're going to have better schedule to play. So I don't want to hear the belly aching about them, okay? They would have gotten rolled. Now let's talk about BYU. BYU would have then played Oregon. I know we had Keith Malinak on the show before. He is the producer of Pat Gray Unleashed. Pat Gray is a big BYU guy. BYU was not going to beat Oregon. Oregon is fantastic. They're really freaking good. They were one of the best teams in the country all year. BYU was very good. 2 bad losses, okay? 2 bad losses. And mind you, the team that Oregon stomped was the team that BYU got beaten by twice. Okay, the Oregon stomped them 23-0 today. And Texas Tech beat BYU twice. So just by those metrics, there was no way that BYU was going to get past Oregon. We would have probably seen another blowout there. And Notre Dame would have been blown out because Notre Dame gets blown out. That's what they do. Whenever they go somewhere that gets like any sort of, they get blown out, okay? So I did actually have a solution. It's a little long-winded, but I think it could work. I gotten a little pushback on it at times, but let me go and find it for everybody. Might take me a minute to scroll here, so give me a hot second. But I want to explain my thought process on this is how, in my eyes, you would at least make the college football playoff a competitive thing. It's never going to be something that's perfect, but it would be competitive. So here we are. Let me make this bigger so people can see. There we go. It's nice and big. All right. So let me read what I had to say here. And here's how I'd fix it. And now I will include Texas A&M and Alabama with the blown out. Everyone complaining about James Madison, U, and Tulane getting blown out seems to forget how often Power 4 schools get blown out by each other too. I think I was proven very right today on that. The real issue is the massive talent disparity in college football from the best few schools to the bottom. Even the top 4 compared to number 10 are worlds apart. Now, I had a smart ass yesterday because I threw this up on TikTok and was like, oh, number 2, we lost to 10. I mean, people don't think. Just because one thing happens doesn't disprove the whole theory. But I'd imagine that person commenting doesn't even know how to spell the word theory. So I digress. I said the solution isn't expanding the playoffs even more. That makes no sense. What should be done is that they should scrap the current conferences. They're a joke at this point anyway, and they should just make 4 regional conferences. Now, this is where it could get a little tricky, but I will do my best to explain it. Within the conferences, there should be championship eligible teams, about 10 to 15 of them, and then non-championship teams, the rest. So when I was doing it, I was trying to cut them up. And I think it would end up being like 34 teams each. So if you took like maybe 14 instead, 14 and 20 or something like that, 20 non-championship, 15, 14 championship eligible. So the teams that are championship eligible compete to win the conference and a spot at a 14 playoff. This way, we'll get 4 of the better teams playing for a title. Now, this could go either way. You can either just take the top 4 as they win and put them in, Or you could do a conference championship where 1 and 2 play each other. And then you'll get the 2 best. Because, like I said, I did this, and I'm going to look down on my phone real quick because I kind of split them up. And like I said, I think I had one that was like 33, 35. But let's see. Okay. So there were 34 in the north, 34 in the south. I got everything to 34. Okay. So if you were to take it at this year, the North would have Indiana and Ohio State would have been the top 2. And they would have played a conference championship game to see who got into the playoff. Then you would have Georgia and Ole Miss playing each other to see who got into the playoff. You would have JMU and Miami playing each other. And I think we know Miami would stomp. So you'd get a good team in that playoff. And then we'd have Oregon playing Texas Tech out west. Now, James Madison, Miami will be east. I'm putting Florida in the east. And then, yes, Georgia and Ole Miss will be south. And, yeah, Oregon will play Texas Tech for the west. So right there, just out of those 4 teams, you're getting 4 of the best. Because I can't imagine James Madison beating Miami, right? So you're going to get Miami out of the east. And just based off the performances so far, you're going to get Indiana out of the north. You'll get, which we're seeing, Georgia and Ole Miss right now, right? So there is a good chance that one of these 2 teams, Georgia more than likely, would go from there. And then we'd have either Oregon or Texas Tech, and they proved that. Oregon would go there. So we'd have Oregon, Miami, Georgia, and Indiana, which I think it may actually end up being anyway. So we would skip all the other bullshit. We would skip all of this. All of this shit would go, and you would just get your top 4. That, to me, would make the most sense. So let's keep going here. The non-eligible teams compete to get into the eligible bracket by being in the top 3 of that group record-wise. They move up to eligibility the next season, and the bottom 3 of the eligible bracket move down into non-eligible. So for anyone who knows, I'm a soccer fan, and this is basically, it's a form of relegation, okay? You would take the bottom 4 or 5, whatever you want to do, 3. They could pick a different number. It doesn't have to be 3. But you take that group, and if they're at the bottom, they get brought down. And then all the top teams of the eligible group get brought up. So back to my list here. If you're taking that into consideration, right? So let's say they did the top 15, and it was the 3 down, 3 up, right? So for the North, I had Toledo, Minnesota, and Nebraska will be the last 3 of the eligible bracket. They would drop down, and you get Cincinnati, Central Michigan, and Miami of Ohio coming up. For the South, Memphis, Troy, and LSU drop down. Louisiana Tech, Southern Mississippi, Arkansas State go up. For the East, you'd get Florida International, Delaware, and Penn State dropping down. You'd get Army, Coastal Carolina, and Rutgers moving up. And then lastly, in the West, you'd have San Diego State, Washington, and TCU dropping down. Arizona State, SMU, Fresno State dropping up. Going up. So that would be there. Let me finish, and then we'll get to a few of the comments there. This will stop the dumb fighting about which conference is better because they'll all be stacked. They'll play a mix of games against eligible and non-eligible teams, and a few of out of conference. So I'd be imagining, since they played 12 games already, it will be 4 out of the eligible group, 4 out of the non-eligible, and then 4 out of conference. And you can kind of, North will play South this year, East will play West. And then you'd flip it. North plays East, South plays West. And you could do that in terms of a non-conference. And you'd have to split it up between, in those non-conferences, 2 eligible non-conference, 2 non-eligible non-conference. So it would keep on getting that competitiveness. And I said, this would be the best and the fairest way to do it, with the rest of the teams playing in bowls and such like they currently do. We know the NCAA won't do anything like this. That makes sense. So we'll stick to being mad about the current product. So, I mean, yeah, that's what it is. So real quick, Nate saying salary capping these teams might be good. Scholarship caps over the long term started to work out. I mean, I've talked about NIL, and I've talked about it a lot ad nauseum, how I think about it. The NIL should be fixed in terms of athletes need to go get their own stuff. Schools can't offer it anymore. Is this still going to benefit the major schools because they have better boosters, because they have more money to throw with their alumni? Yes. It was always going to be that way. But at least this will make the athletes have to go get it. They have to get an agent. They got to work for it. And it's not a school contract. You're not being paid by the school to be there per se. You're being lured in by those who want you there, right? So it's like Dave Portnoy. Dave Portnoy, what he's doing, as much as I think it's sleazy, where he's like, I'm going to get the best Michigan quarterback, best quarterback every year for Michigan, right? Didn't work out this year, but that's what he stated. It would at least give the schools wouldn't be as involved. Nate also saying, I hope they consulted the non-NFL seniors at Notre Dame. Total chicken shit if they didn't. Imagine expecting one more game as a senior and admin takes it away. Agreed. That was a baby back bitch move that they did that. Nate saying that fix the playoffs, but not the competition gap. The thing is, Nate, and he says you see it in the EPL, bottom feeders just rotating in and out. Yes, I agree. But the thing is, when you adjust the conferences the way I have, you're now moving the major conferences, kind of splitting them up because they're so fucked up now anyway. But you're taking some of these smaller teams and putting them in. And I think that you'll see some schools rise up and be able to stay there, because even in the EPL, there is movement. You have the best of the best. You have your legacies, and college football is going to stay that way. Your blue bloods will always be your blue bloods, but you get those that sneak in, right? You'll get like in soccer, you get Crystal Palace making a run, you get Tottenham making a run, and they get good for a little while, and that helps. You get Everton making their run, and they're old names, but they're not your City, which City wasn't City up until about 10 years ago. Okay, City was a mid-table team for God knows how long. United was the bee's knees over in Manchester. So for me, Nate, it would just be evening it out in terms of talent regionally. Because if you do even it out, yes, the ACC had an awful year, which would be the brunt of the East group, right? But you can't count out Florida, Clemson, Miami, a lot of these Florida schools. I mean, it's the Florida schools would carry the load, and the Carolina schools are there though too, because Duke has been so much better at football. North Carolina has stepped up their football program. South Carolina's there; they're not in the SEC. That's a good school. So you would get that the competition gap would still be there, but it would still you would have a good group in every region, but it would give also those lower teams something to fight for, right? Because if you're non-eligible, you want to at least say, hey, we have a shot. And that could be a feather in a team's cap too. If you are a James Madison, right? And you are sitting there and you are battling and you're at the lower end of eligibility, but you can say to your recruits, hey, we've been 10th in the conference and we've been eligible. We've been hanging on, but we've been an eligible team every single year that we've been in the East. With your help us move up, right? That's a recruiting calling card. So, Georgia and Georgia State, I will say, Georgia and Georgia Tech, I believe I have in the South, just for numbers wise. I know that almost doesn't make sense, but they are in the South numbers wise. I had to move some things around in terms of how that works. But yeah, that would happen too, especially as some FCS schools come into the FBS. They would have to shuffle it, or I guess not even FBS, it's CFP now. But they would have to tweak things. But I think ultimately this would at least give us, everyone wants the best, right? This would give us the best 4 teams, bar none. This will give us the best 4 teams. So that's basically just one of my major complaints with the way college fans are. Like, God, they're so dumb sometimes. Because, I'm going to go back to the stupid comment, right? And I shouldn't be a grumpy bitch, but I'm going to. Because let's look at the poll because, like I said, that guy on TikTok, individual on TikTok, commented about how the 10 beat the 2. Ho, ho. Let's look back at number 10 versus number 2, what it would have been last year here, okay? Let's see. CFP rankings 2024. So the college football playoff rankings, last year's 10 would have been Indiana, and they would have played Georgia. In any world, would last year's Indiana team have beaten last year's Georgia team? No, absolutely not, right? Absolutely not. So then let's go again. Let's go back to 2023. This is an interesting, funny little game we could play here. No data available because they didn't have that. Okay. But let's go to the AP. Oh, they're not going all the way back to 2023? What in the hell? What? They don't go back to 2023? Do we just not have football? I don't know. But let's go back to 2022 then. Okay. 2022 college football rankings, the playoff rankings. Let's see here. Number 2 would have been Michigan. Number 10 would have been USC. That year's USC team was not beating Michigan. They would not have beat them. There's no chance in hell. Okay? Let's go back to, not 2020. Yeah, let's go to, oh, I just got out of there. Let's go to 2020. Number 2 would have been Notre Dame. Number 10 would have been Miami. Miami's not beating Notre Dame. 2021, Michigan against Michigan State. I mean, I can just go on and on and on. Michigan already beat Michigan State that year. So the whole argument of, oh, well, we just saw 10 beat a 2. We saw the ACC champion beat Ohio State was a good team, but they lost to Indiana. They weren't a champion. So I hate, just the whole entire argument sometimes. I feel like college football fans and college fans sometimes are incredibly delusional about all this type of shit. But it is what it is. All right. So let's jump over to something also that is bothering me in terms of movies wise. Because we are getting yet another the evil person is not as evil as you thought they were type of thing. Because right here, this is from Discussing Film. First look at Steps, a new animated film that follows Cinderella's evil stepsisters, who are actually depicted as kind and misunderstood. Starring Ali Wong and Stephanie Su as the stepsisters, releasing in 2026 on Netflix. I don't know about you guys, but I am so incredibly tired of the justification of evil. From Cruella, which I heard was pretty good. I heard Cruella wasn't bad. But from Cruella to just every single villain that we have now has this sob story to tell of why they're a villain. Feel bad for me. I'm not that mean. It's something else that happened. And we all know in our heart of hearts, why are the stepsisters actually kind and misunderstood? What went wrong in their life? Are they going to blame it on the stepmother? Fuck no. No shot in hell that they blame the evil stepmother, who's called the evil stepmother, right? There is no shot in hell that they blame the stepmother for this. It is going to be blamed somehow on the father. I'm already calling it now. And they're going to blame it on Cinderella's father somehow before he passes away. By putting Cinderella against them somehow. I am telling you right now, there isn't a single way that they don't try to do it that way. Because they're not going to blame it on the stepmother. Especially not fucking Netflix, right? They are not going to say that the woman is evil. Maybe Cinderella. They're going to try and, subvert your expectations. We're going to subvert that. Cinderella's always been the good guy, but not so fast. Very similar to what they do in Wicked, where Elphaba's misunderstood and Glinda's not as good and pure as we think she is. And don't get me wrong, I saw the play. The play was great. The first movie was decent. I didn't see the second movie yet. I will see the second movie. But it's the same style thing where if you just look a little deeper, they're not the bad guy. Let's come the fuck on now. Of course they are, right? And no one was ever blaming. Like, I don't remember growing up and watching Cinderella and looking at the stepsisters and going, they're truly evil. You thought they were bitches and they were just mean, but the evil one wasn't the stepsisters. It was the evil stepmother. She was the one that were telling them to go do this stuff and raising them as spoiled brats and teaching them that they're just better people than Cinderella. I don't think anybody walked away from Cinderella truly going that these stepsisters were pure evil. They were spoiled brats. That's what they were. Were they nice to Cinderella? No, obviously not. But they were kids. They were teenagers. I don't think they were like old. Maybe they were a little bit older, but it's not like they weren't the evil ones. It was the stepmother that was a wench and made them be the way they were. But I'm so tired of all these. They're not as evil as you think. All of these little prequel, sequel shit where they try to rewrite the original story is so annoying. They have to make you feel something that it's not their fault. It's so lame. It's lame. So I'm not looking forward to that. I'm gonna probably, my daughters will probably end up watching it. I'll watch it with them to make sure there's no dumb shit in it. But I don't know. We're gonna keep on getting this too because they're devoid of ideas. They need to talk to Rollin. Rollin needs to give them better ideas because he has ideas. But they were devoid of ideas in Hollywood. So what do? Take old IPs. And now we're going to reimagine them. I don't know. Somehow they're going to blame the prince too or something like that. They're going to figure out a way to just blame everyone but them. They're not mean. They're not really mean. You're mean. You're mean for thinking they're mean. Me. Speaking of potentially mean, I guess. Let's talk about the anointed one. Zoran Mamdani. So he was officially elected to put into office today. And let's hear what Mr. Mamdani has to say about how he is going to govern.
Here is what I want you to expect from the administration that this morning moved into the building behind me. We will transform the culture of City Hall from...
So one right away, buzzword, transform. I know people think that it's a very innocuous term. That's not very bad. But the term transform is written all over leftist Marxist type of things. Whenever you hear transform, like, social emotional learning, transformative, anything like that, that is a buzzword for Marxism, for communism. Let's keep going.
One of no to one of how. We will answer to all New Yorkers, not to any billionaire or oligarch who thinks they can buy our democracy.
So once again, doing the whole entire, like they love to do the wealth, the class warfare. I'm for everybody, not for the rich people. Fuck them. But I'm for everybody. I guess not for the rich people though. No, I'll be for everyone. Let's keep going.
We will govern without shame and insecurity, making no apology for what we believe. I was elected as a democratic socialist, and I will govern as a democratic socialist.
And there we go. I was elected as a democratic socialist. I will govern as. So for anyone that's smart, understands that every single communist movement essentially started off as a democratic socialist movement. That does not mean that they are socialists that believe in democracy, because to a Marxist, democracy is not what you think it is. Democracy is quite literally just mob rule. They use that term to fool people. Same as Zoran Mamdani has done. Letitia James, dumbass, Bernie Williams, AOC. Look at this motley crew of morons. Friggin' Hochul's dumbass, Letitia James, AOC, Bernie. I don't even know who the hell that is. But what a motley crew of morons. And then we weren't done with Zoran. Because let's hear this beautiful thing.
Together. We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism.
Oof.
If our
Ooh.
together.
Coming right out and saying it. Mask the fuck off. New York City. Hope you enjoyed your property rights. They're going to be gone. Hope you enjoyed any rights. We are going to get rid of individualism for collectivism. You voted for this, New York City. I hope you're ready. I hope you're ready to reap what you sow. Collectivism is nothing more than communism. Just out and out communism. There isn't any other way to couch it. What Zoran Mamdani wants is communism. And he's not trying to hide it. He is not trying to hide it. And people of New York City, you don't have any more rights. You already had limited rights there, more than the rest of people in the world and in the country. The fact that you can't have a gun, it's incredibly hard. They make it damn near illegal. The cameras everywhere that just fucking minority report you. And now this guy here flat out saying we're going to collectivism. The one thing about leftists, you got to believe them when they say it. Unlike, with people on the right and Republicans, they say shit and never do it. Leftists say things and do them. Zoran Mamdani is going to govern as a communist. Everything he's saying is not even just socialist, it's Marxist, which they're one and the same. He is going to do things in New York City that I don't think people are ready for. And we were talking about how are the government supermarkets going to work? The bread lines are going to be immense, guys. And he's going to figure out a way to blame it on Donald Trump and everybody else. You're going to start seeing him talking about the ways things need to be talked about. You're going to start seeing him truly demonize those that do not agree with him to the point of calls to action. They're going to couch it as they're not. Same way they talk, they never say Maxine Waters said anything wrong or that, people talking about, but, they've always been saying violence, but they always couch it. We're going to see calls to action from Zoran Mamdani against those who don't agree. You're going to see a lot more violence in New York City. The violence in the city is going to ramp up, and it's not going to be these extremist right-wingers. It's going to be from a guy like Mamdani, who is going to have a group of individuals, possibly Antifa, that do his bidding. And he's going to be bought and paid for. The people of New York City are going to see it. They elected a person that does not work for them at all, has zero interest in them. Every interest in pushing the ideology. And I know there's going to be the religion thrown at him because he's Muslim. And he got sworn in on a Quran today. And that is what it is, right? And he's going to use that. He's going to use that. He's going to use that Islamophobia is rampant and what he's dealing with. He is absolutely going to make up all the things he's going to talk about so many things that are happening to him. He deals with it all the time as the first Islamic mayor of New York City and blah, 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 blah. We're going to see it. It's going to happen. But we can't let him win. Nate, he's saying New York cannot be saved, let it burn. The only issue with that, Nate, is I live in New York State. We got to fight for the city. We can't lose a part of our state. Can't happen. So we have to fight for the city. Now it starts with a Republican Party with a backbone, which we don't have. We don't have. We still play from the playbook of don't lose. We don't play from the playbook of win, especially in the city. It's going to be a bizarre time. Zohran Mamdani he's going to be bad. He's going to be bad. And there's no other way about it. He's going to be terrible for the city. He will hurt the country. He will absolutely hurt the country. Because what people don't understand is that as some of these major centers like Los Angeles, like New York, like Chicago, like Houston, like Miami, but especially New York as an economic hub of the state, if New York goes down, we are in fucking trouble, guys. We are in trouble. So strap in, strap up. I know I just said strap up, but you should be armed. You should be. You know, it's a right. Everyone should. If you want a weapon, you should go get one. But definitely, there's going to be a lot going on in New York City. That's the best way to put it. We'll talk about it. It's half and half with me, right? Because I want those who voted for Zohran Mamdani to feel the brunt of the policies. Because I know it was like overwhelmingly non-US born citizens that voted for him. Overwhelmingly. Thinking he's going to help them. These are the same type of idiots that propelled Barack Obama to the presidency. He had the black vote by droves, both of his terms. And he did fuck all for the black community. He left them worse than when he found them. Zohran Mamdani is going to do the same thing to the Muslim community. It's not going to help you guys. It's going to make your lives worse. Everything is about to get worse. The only people that are going to benefit in Zohran Mamdani's New York City is his cabal. His small circle will get wealthy beyond belief, including himself. The corruption of Zohran Mamdani is going to go deep. You want to talk about Nick Shirley doing investigative journalism, just going to the Somali child care centers? We should have Nick Shirley just walk around New York City for all Zohran Mamdani's term and just uncover the corruption that he is about to lay on the feet of the people. But again, you get what you vote for. Not enough people came out to defeat him. You idiots decided to even give Andrew Cuomo votes. And the dumbass Republicans are in Curtis Lewa. What are we going to do? What can we do? Besides watch it and fight back when we have to. Speaking of another topic that has gotten a lot of people down. Artificial intelligence. Now, I understand the fear of artificial intelligence, what it's capable of. I understand the anger from some of the creative side about what it can do. It has immense power, right? And this is in the infant state of AI. going to get more. So if you're a creative, I understand the fear. I get it. I get it. I get that you are thinking about if AI goes beyond just copycat, what is it going to do for me as a creative, right? I get it. I'm not disparaging or discounting what they're saying, and that goes in the video game sector, movies, writing, music, all of it, artwork, all of it. And I understand the fear in general of being controlled by AI. The algorithm already controls us, right? Here's me on the internet hoping that the algorithm pushes my live stream towards you. I'm hoping that that happens. And people are constantly talking about, number one, the AI bubble bursting, which will happen. It is a major, impactful industry. There is going to be billions, maybe trillions thrown into this industry, and there will be a burst because it will plateau. We're on this trajectory with AI right now, and it will plateau. And that plateau will cause the winners to stay and everyone else to just fucking drop. And we might see a dip too before it plateaus. It'll go up, it'll dip, and then it'll streamline. Same way the .com bubble burst and things like that. We'll see that. But I'm going to come at this in a different way. Because as someone who studied history, one thing that I've always noticed about the human condition is that we are at our worst when we are not the cause of something, when we're not in control of something, and when we can't accurately foresee or predict the outcome. And that is going to cause and has caused a lot of people to make very bold and doomerish predictions, right? Nate saying already has NVIDIA entire market cap is AI speculation. Yes. But it's only going to rise still, Nate, because we're going to get more and more. It's not done rising. We might see a little mini, but it's going to rise some more. That bubble's not ready to burst yet. I don't think it's burst yet. I want to give a different perspective on AI. Because one thing that Klaus Schwab and his crazy ass before he left the World Economic Forum got correct is we are in a fourth industrial revolution. It has started, and it is artificial intelligence. Now, when he talked about it from, he talked about technology and AI and things like that, but he also talked about it from a control perspective in order to fit their goals for global control via climate change lying and all that bullshit. So, but it was right that we are in a fourth industrial revolution. And what comes with all the industrial revolutions? Let's take a look here. Because we've always had doom and gloom. So the first industrial revolution was major in terms of coal became a big industry, right? And it changed a lot. And there, you had people fearing for their jobs. Because with coal, you can create the trains and the steam engine. And what was that going to do for the long-term cargo transport? Now, a lot of people were okay with it, right? Because it took a while to bring goods via horse and buggy. So they were able to adjust. But let's go even before that. The cotton gin. The cotton gin cut down work for laborers in the field. Now, this was post-slavery. So now you have workers. You're paying people to do this. Oh, what was the worker going to do? Now the cotton gin was going to take up all of my time. It was gonna cut all time. Where are these workers going to go? Doom. The printing press. The printing press had people up in arms. It was people's jobs to write these books out. Good jobs to take them and write by hand. Now you have the printing press and you can mass produce things. Mass produce the same thing copied onto page. Oh my God, all these jobs. How are we going to replace these jobs? The factory, industrialization, the assembly line. Now we can mass produce things that were done by small stores. And we're doing it by assembly lining with hands and people. And, those old videos of a boss overhead and all the men and women, mostly women, doing all. Every time we have one of these major leaps in terms of technology that is going to make lives easier, the refrigerator, the microwave, all these things, air conditioning, sliced fucking bread, okay? All of these things have caused a panic of some sort. They have caused people to doom about what's next. God, when the car truly came to replace the horse, people were freaking out. What are we going to do with all these fucking horses? Every single time we have had this, there has been doom. There's a lot of people who do that job. Now this new item is going to take their place. What are all those people going to do? There's not going to be work for them. And you know what happens? Out of that extra time that people gain, new and different jobs come up. Things that we couldn't think of, things that we couldn't imagine because we were so preoccupied with having to do that one arduous, longer thing. Now, granted, we are at a point, even before AI, where things are so automated already. And we don't have to do as much. We have, in the West especially, United States especially, a very, very pampered way of living. The first world, the Western world, United States, lives very, very, very well. In fact, we are easily in the best place in human history in terms of the human condition in the United States or the general person. I am in a house with 4 walls around, no leaks, central air, heat, light, running water that gets hot, clean water, reliable electricity, all these things that we take for granted. We are in a great spot to live. We can't imagine what AI is actually going to do. It's easy to do. It's easy to think of the negative because it's already facing us, right? Oh, AI could take over. It could kill us. Sure, we've done that in sci-fi. Oh, AI is going to end so many jobs. Millions of people are going to be out of work. Maybe. Or is AI going to cause people to have more time, to think of more things, to do different things that we never even thought could be jobs, that could have been helpful, that are incredibly helpful? Is it going to get us more efficient as it evens out, as we use it as a tool? Is it going to make our way of life more comfortable? Because think of it this way. We have 3D printers, right? And 3D printers are really fucking cool. Really cool. That's an invention I didn't think I maybe would have seen, but they're really fucking cool. You can do a lot of things with 3D printing. Now just imagine you hook up AI to a 3D printer and it problem solves and instantly can send the specs to a 3D printer to make things that are really, really helpful to us. We don't have to go and search it anymore. We don't have to go and download the diagnostic and then put it into the 3D printer and have it. We'll have an AI that does it for us. We'll tell the AI our problem and it'll say, okay, printing. And what happens when we go and we set an AI on a task of, hey, we want to know how to print organic matter. That's all we want you to work on, AI. How do we print organic matter? Are there other stem cells that work just as well as embryonic stem cells that we're maybe not looking for or thinking of, so we don't have to harvest them from a baby? There's so many things that I've changed my perspective because I understood the doom and gloom side of it. And I get it. It's easy to do, but it's also because it is hard to imagine something before it's actually happened. It's hard to imagine what a new job might happen, what might spring up. Shit, there's jobs now where people are just asking questions and answering questions, and it's to train AI modules. It's a job, real job. No one thought of that. The internet has created so many jobs. Social media has created so many jobs. Jobs that we didn't foresee when these things started. I'm working on Restream. Would Restream have been a concept without the internet, without social media, without the ability to stream out these videos? We find things out after the fact, right? And then there's times where we look back and go, well, that was a great invention, man. I have turned the page on my outlook on AI because I don't want to fucking doom. Nate saying, I've seen Terminator, I know. That's assuming that the AI thinks that we're the cancer and wants to murder us. It may just be like they're fucking stupid, they're not even worth murdering and leave. Or it might look at us as a baby, as an infant, and go, it's my job to raise this thing. Right? Because I think the one thing humans always do with ourselves is we've called it the human condition for a long time, right? Because we look at humanity and life and what it is as a sickness. And we are dying every day, right? But it really isn't a sickness. It's a happy miracle. It's a blessing that we're here. And human capability is absolutely fucking ridiculous. What we can accomplish, what we have accomplished, because just out in the wild, we'd be good. And we were good. Obviously, we made it. But our adaptability is the best thing ever. There isn't another thing on this planet as adaptable as us. There are things that live in harsher climates, right? Like, we're not going to survive in fucking magma. We're not going to survive at the bottom of the ocean. But we could generally survive wherever the fuck we want that has oxygen and a food source and water we can make clean. We could survive all those places. We need some basic things, and we could survive. Because through time, we have taught ourselves how to build shelters, how to create irrigation, all these things. So we're AGI, if we get there, yeah, of course, they could look at us and be like, you're a pimple on the ass of this earth and we're going to pop you because you fucking suck. Okay, whatever. If that happens, it happens. It can also look and go, you're doomed, piss off, create a rocket and leave. Okay, whatever. Or it can look and go, there's something here. Especially if you're a Christian and you believe in the divine spark and you believe that we were created in the image of God. If Christianity is real and if it's true, like we believe it is, Why wouldn't the AGI look and go, okay, according to the scripture, they're in the image of God, and I see it. I see the potential. I see the ability. So I'm going to use my vast and superior intellect to nurture this because they are capable of great things. Look at it, the little bit they've already done to this planet in order to transform it into something livable for them. Why isn't that a possibility? Or why isn't it that we get these AI models really good and maybe not AGI, but we start to sit there and yes, some jobs are gone, but now new things pop up. New things that, again, we never were able to think of. And that's where I see, that's what I am choosing. Maybe it's rose colored. Maybe it's just fucking me being a naive little bitch. But just from looking back at history, every single time we have had these very iffy moments on the brink of things that are going to make our lives exponentially easier, we do. Because we can't, once the technology is created, the common person now can't control it. Fucking scares us. You know, we are the start cause because we created it. But we don't know what that causation is going to lead to. And that terrifies the general populace. Is AI already powerful in its infant state? Yes, it is. Is AI wrong about a lot? Yeah. So you got to check it. You can't use it on its own as the finite thing. But I am now choosing to not doom about AI anymore. I believe it's going to bring things that we never thought we could see. Great things. Of course, it's going to be used for bad. It's going to be a lot of bad. But anything gets used for bad, right? The internet is amazing. The internet before AI, the internet has been the best invention man has ever had. The information at our fingertips is ridiculous. And without the internet and without the ability to trade information seamlessly, we wouldn't have had all the advances we've had in our lives over the past 20, 25, 30 years, which is rapid in technology. But AI is going to do something similar. It's going to have its bad, but God, it's overwhelmingly going to have its good because is social media a pimple, a scar? Yeah, social media is not great, but at the same time, it's done great things. It's not all bad. We look at the bad because talking about the bad and doing it's sexy to talk about that. It's not sexy to talk about the good. It isn't. And social media, the internet, and now AI, plus all the other things in the past. We've doomed about them all. We have been nervous about these types of major changes that we see happening, that we know are happening, that we're actively doing, that we don't have the answer for what it's going to do after we do it. Scary. It is. But I'm not going to let that continue to make me nervous about it. Because one thing I've learned in my life is I can't worry about the things that I can't control. I could speculate, I could talk about it, that's fine. But I can't worry about it. I can only worry about what I can control. And what I can control is what me and my family do. Going to work, working hard, trying to raise my kids the right way. Coming on here, talking to you guys. And throwing my opinion out there. I can control that. I can't control what the geniuses in the AI labs are doing. I can't. I can't control what AI is going to do next. But I'm not going to worry about it. And I'm not going to doom about it. I am going to make the effort to be positive about it. And just think that we are going to come out of this on the back end better than we did on the front end. And the doom was not going to be all that we thought it should have been. Let me go to this because this is absolutely hilarious. What'd I do here? I fucked it up. What'd I do? Nate, what'd I do? This to me, I found funny. Libs of TikTok over here has this. CNN disputes that there's fraud in Minnesota Somali daycares because they called a bunch of daycares. One answered. So they asked if they're committing fraud, and the daycare responded they're not. So let's see some hard-hitting journalism by CNN.
CNN is looking into Shirley's claims.
Hi, my name's Whitney Wild. I'm a correspondent for CNN.
We reached out to several of the daycares featured in the now viral video. Only one daycare facility answered and said they are a legitimate business.
Have you seen the videos, purporting that some of these daycares don't have kids inside?
Minnesota Republicans say.
So real quick, that the headline's not deceiving there from Libs of TikTok. It's quite literally that easy. We've called and they said they weren't. So, and the funny thing is here, this is what journalism's come down to. We made some phone calls. Instead of whoever the fuck that blonde reporter was, calling CNN and going, you know what? I don't believe there's fraud there. I believe Nick Shirley's full of shit. I believe that he made that. It was a contrived video. Fly me out there. I will go to the exact same locations. Let them know we're coming if you can, but I will go to the exact same locations and I will do the journalism on the ground. No. We made some phone calls, y'all. Let's keep going.
Despite the new focus from the Trump administration, they have been sounding the alarm on fraud for years.
So despite Nick Shirley going out and doing our job as journalists, the lawmakers in Minnesota have talking about fraud for years. The fuck have they done about it?
We have talked about fraud. We have gotten stories. We've tried to push this forward every way that we can.
At the daycare where Shirley showed.
So here's part of the problem here. They're trying to say that this is Shirley and the Trump administration, right? And now they're going, well, the Minnesota Republicans have been talking about this. This is old news. Okay. So if they have been, where the fuck have you been, CNN? Where have you been? Isn't this part of your job? That if a body of a law body is talking about fraud, and apparently they're talking about it frequently, wouldn't this be worth a report? Or maybe some investigative journalism? Maybe sending a journalist out there and filming it and going to see? Maybe. Or leave it to Nick Shirley to do your fucking job for you.
Back up. A stream of children walk inside.
You're saying that this is a fraudulent daycare. There's kids being dropped off right now.
Yes, the Commissioner of Children literally said a week ago this place was closed.
Did you know
They're
that?
showing face right now.
A viral.
And the thing is, look at that person trying to argue. Oh, the kids are coming in. Look at that. The kids are coming in. Okay. This is the same daycare that when Nick Shirley filmed it, they said, oh, the kids don't come in till later. Oh, now they're coming in the morning though? In a closed daycare center? This is why people don't fucking trust CNN, MS Now, any of these fucking places now. Because instead of going to do their own report and saying, hey, we disagree with Nick Shirley, so we're going to go do our own report, they send someone there to argue with Nick Shirley. Because it's their goal, instead of going to sit there and disprove his claim, we are going to try and sun him by saying, we're real news, you're not. So you need to play by our game, shut the fuck up.
Video, disputed claims, and their full fallout remains to be seen. CNN is looking into.
This is laziness. And CNN should be fucking ashamed. CNN should absolutely be ashamed of themselves. Because the bottom line is, you guys, if you are still the powerful media that you say you are, go look into it. If you disagree with Nick Shirley and his reporting in a 40 2-fucking-minute video that he went and showed on video, going to these places, doing investigative journalism. And I've heard that people are like, he was trying to open locked doors. He was doing investigative journalism. He was going to locations that he believed there was an issue and finding out. That's what they used to do. Being a journalist, they used to say being a journalist could be a dangerous job, because sometimes it is your job to enter into a hostile situation in order to get the scoop. We used to respect journalists because we knew at times they would put themselves in harm's way to just go and get the story because they believed that they needed to make sure that things got out there to people. But no, not what CNN is there for anymore. It's their goal to make sure that you know, CNN viewer, that Nick Shirley's full of shit. Why? We made a few phone calls. And even though most of them didn't pick up, which, okay, the daycare centers didn't pick up. Did you do follow-ups? Called 1 time, 2 times, 3? How many times did you call? Because if you've called once, they don't pick up, okay, maybe they're busy. You call twice, they don't pick up, that's weird. You call 3 times, they don't pick up. Maybe they're not a fucking business. And maybe Nick's right. And you get one to pick up. And you run a fucking story off that because they said, no, we're running a clean business. 1. And that's what you base a whole segment on. This is why people don't trust journalists. This is exactly why. Because they try to run these bullshit stories because they know their viewers are stupid. Okay? If you're watching CNN for actual news, you're an idiot. If you're watching any of these cable news networks 24/7 for your news, whether it's Fox News, whether it's CNN, whether it's MS Now, whether it's only Real America's Voice or OAN, okay? If those are your only sources, you're a fucking idiot. You're being lied to by and a lot of it's lies by omission. But man, if you're watching the former, your CNN and your MS Now, you know nothing. 0. Because right there, they are more interested in telling you Nick Shirley isn't a journalist, don't believe him, because we said so. Not because we did our jobs, but because we said so. And we're going to use that. Apparently, Minnesota Republicans have been talking about this for ages, but we decided not to do our job. And that is why you should believe us. I mean, you can't make this shit up because they think you're a fucking idiot. And they know their audience is a bunch of idiots. And that they're just going to go, And it's funny, they mention, because of Nick Shirley's video, yes, the Trump administration has done more, but they had to throw in the administration. Not Nick Shirley doing the groundwork. The administration is now taking a more of a aggressive, like, fuck you. Good that they have. Good. Make these places prove they're on the up and up. Make them prove it. And maybe CNN, maybe send the journalist out there. Send somebody, not just make phone calls. Send someone to the exact locations that Nick Shirley went to. Caveat Ties, what's going on, Roland? How are you doing, brother? Just got done watching F1 with the family. I haven't seen F1. I heard great things about it. How was it? You're going to throw a Criticalist review up there? I'd imagine you will. Because you are a faithful Criticalist man. All right, so last thing I want to do is cause some controversy. Because that's what I want to do. So, 2 past guests of mine, Ethan Van Sciver and John Delarose. I typically stay out of any drama. I don't want it. I don't give a shit about it. I've seen Ethan throwing barbs over at Rippaverse and shit like that. Whatever. I like the Rippaverse guys. I liked Ethan when I had him on the show. Thought it was a really good interview we talked about. Was happy that Ethan was doing what he was doing with Comicsgate. Still happy that Ethan is fucking rolling with Comicsgate and we're having alternative comics. We had John Della Rosa on. With Fandom Pulse. I don't know if it was Fandom Pulse when you had him. But we had John on. It was a good conversation. I know there's been some allegations or shit about John's personal life, but I know nothing about that. I'm neither here nor there with that. I don't fucking care. But what I've seen from those two is just so fucking babyish, man. And earlier today, this was kind of the final straw for me. So Ethan throws up there, Happy New Year, everyone, let's go. Pretty harmless, right? And he has two of his characters on there, giving a fist bump with Cyberfrog and stuff. Cool. Underneath, John Della Rose has to pop in and goes, I look forward to selling more books in all of Comicsgate again. Now, they've had back and forth. And they've gone at it. And John pops up and does this a lot, where he just tries to stir shit. And Ethan stirs shit. And Trashcast has now gotten big and massive. Much bigger than I think Ethan thought it could. But it's not because Comicsgate's good, okay? It's not because Ethan's good. It's because he's made it his whole identity to go after Eric July in the Rippaverse. And it's like, listen, I get it. You had a problem with Eric. You made one of the covers for, I think, ISOM. And don't get me wrong, I think Ethan's a talented comic book artist. But he made one of them, and there was a whole back and forth about the story of who he said, she said between him and Eric, whatever. But since that point, Ethan has made it his goal to try and rip down Rippaverse and rip down Eric July. And I see it, and it's all over my timeline because I like to keep a tab of like my past guests and like to see what they're up to because I want to interact with our past guests. And there's just times where it's just everything for days. It's Eric July, Rippaverse going down, Eric July. And it's like, God, have an identity that's not based on someone else. Like, Cyberfrog is legitimately fun. It looks good. People enjoy it. Comicsgate has been doing its thing. Just go with that. I think this whole dumbass division between Comicsgate, Rippaverse, this and that is so fucking stupid. We're all generally on a similar side. We all agree that there are problems with the major comic book creators, that there is a lot of bullshit still being pushed, and that there should be good alternatives. You don't have to tear each other down. And it's not each other. Eric has said a few things about Comicsgate and Ethan Van Sciver, but nothing really else. Eric doesn't give a fuck, okay? Eric does not care about Comicsgate. They are there. That's it. I can tell you right now, Rippaverse does not give a shit about them. Period. And I don't know Eric. I don't know him at all. I've never talked to Eric July. I've seen Eric on streams. I like Eric. I listen. I like his opinions. But I don't know dick about Eric besides that. But I don't know. I can't, like, this is going to be the one and last time I talk about this shit, okay? Even if they come back and they see this and they want to make, I don't give a fuck. But I cannot make and base my identity off of just going at and trying to hate somebody and trying to tear them down and just trying to go fucking crazy, okay? And just, that's my whole identity. It's not my talent. It's not what I'm good for. It's the fact that I dislike this person and I'm going to make an audience trying to find people that dislike him, and that's it. That's all I'm going to do. I don't see value in that, especially when you're talented. I don't see value. And I know Ethan's not going to listen to a single thing I have to fucking say, and that's fine. But I think it's such a waste of time and a waste of talent, a waste of effort to consistently track Rippaverse's numbers. Oh, they're lying. Rippaverse is failing. They don't take into account this. Why are these sales lower? How about you just shut the fuck up and make your comics? Why not? Why not? So before I get to John here, saying good, he already did comment on Critic List. It's a hint long and it drags a bit. He also said he's listened to EVS a few times. I honestly, I've never, I had him on. I've watched him on a few clips, and it's since I think I maybe watched one or two of his streams, but it's just when he became like, I don't care if you have beef with Eric July and the Rippaverse. I have no loyalties to anyone. Like I'm friendly with some of the G&G guys, but it's not like I'm like in the middle. I'm not gonna like Ethan because he doesn't like someone. I don't care. But when you make it your whole identity and you're a grown ass fucking man, that's weird. That's weird. Saying he seems a bit antagonistic. Yeah, I mean, listen, he is. He's a guy that, listen, he was inside the industry and the industry tried to fuck him. And he is antagonistic, but I didn't think it was a negative way at first. Nate seeing EVS in the toilet right now. He's sector slummer. I mean, yeah. Caveat saying, am I familiar bounding at the comics? Yes, I've seen them. I've read some stuff. I don't know. I know there was some shit with them, I guess. And even some of our other guests, we've had John Trent on, and I know John Trent gets shit on sometimes. I don't pay attention all that much, okay? I really don't. I see things pop up, and most of the time I scroll by it, but it's just so childish. Nate saying, EVS a legendary artist, but when you're ball watching Ethan Ralph, Marsh, and Nick Rekieta, you're at the bottom. Agreed. It's unnecessary. Nate saying, if you haven't heard Backwards yet, you'll love them. Eric is so good. Listen, I like Backwards. Backwards is awesome. It's a good band. When they let out the fucking Rippaverse theme song earlier, my God, that was really good. It was an absolute banger. No, Eric's a pretty talented guy. And I think that scares the fuck out of people. They don't like talented people. It scares them. And also, the other thing that terrifies people, and I think I did a Twitter post about this, friendships fucking terrify people. Real friendships, not contrived friendships, not these fake online ones that people are using each other to get to the top, but real friendships, which it looks like the people at G&G have. Okay? Because I do love, you see sometimes Eric and Jeremy will fucking have screaming matches. And people will clip it. Is this the end of G&G? Are Eric and Jeremy done? D-Day Cobra and Eric July go at it. Blah, 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 blah. And they are friends. And they come back and they do another show. And they laugh about all the fucking idiots, okay? True friends scare people when other people don't know how to have them. When everything else is a business deal to people, when they see true friendships, it terrifies them. So that's my thing with Ethan. I think it's weird as a grown-ass man to make your identity trying to tear down and focusing on another man and his business so much. If he wronged you, if he stiffed you, if anything, sue him and go win. Get your money, dude. But God, Ethan, you're a talented artist. You can play the game online. That's fine. Just fucking messing around or whatever. But to have like the make Comics Gate, this whole gay little army that's just going after the Rippaverse and all that. Like, it's so lame. And it's so stupid and unproductive. Generally, we want the same thing. It'd be so much better if the Comics Gate people and the Rippaverse people could just sit there and go, we might not like each other too much, but I mean, we're all just trying to fuck over Marvel and DC in the end and cut into a little bit of their pie. No, instead, just fucking rip on it. It's so lame. It is lame. Now, for John, this comment is what got me noticing with it. And what's the fucking point, John? I look forward to selling more books in all of Comics yet again. Like, pat yourself on the back. Like, I see John and he goes at it with Ethan and he goes at it with a lot of people. And John's a good writer. John's made some good books. He's made comics, people buy them, people like them. He writes some pretty good pieces, journalism wise. I can't understand not just relying on your talent, but having to just go on and try to make some internet fucking drama. Why? You're a grown ass man. Stop. Stop. Like, what's the need to go on and comment that? You're just asking for an argument. Like, you're typing that and you actively click send, hoping that the Comics Gate people will now flood your comments so you could just go and have back and forth. On the fucking first day of the year. This is how you open your year? I don't understand it. I don't. And for me, it's just one of those things where it's like, again, trying to sit there and make your whole identity, I was right. Because that's what John does a lot too. He'll shit on Grums. He'll shit on Smash JT. He'll try and sit there and, I was on board with this first and you said blah, blah, blah. And you're against this because, and he tries to be this like so hardline Christian to like, and it's at nauseum. It's like, dude, just calm the fuck down sometimes. And like I said, when I had Ethan on, when I had John on, I liked both of them on the show. We had good conversations. And I'd have them in my past guest tab because I like to keep tabs and throw a comment here and there. But it's like when you're just looking for fucking drama, looking for internet arguments, just being overall fucking lame. It's like I look at it, I'm like, I don't want to interact with you. And you might not want to interact with me either, and that's fine. But it's like, why would I want to interact with you when all you do, instead of promoting yourself, promoting your work, showing your talent, you're sitting there and now going, well, I did this first and I'm better than you, or you suck, and just shut the fuck up. It's just so childish to me. It's just so childish. And I'm looking at this on the first day of the year, and I'm like, why would you make that comment? But maybe I'm doing it wrong, okay? Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Because here, if I go to John's page, John's got over 16,000 followers. John's got a bunch of followers, and he is, Fandom Pulse is pretty big and doing all that type of shit. So, like, good for him, right? Good for him. And then if I go up to Ethan, Ethan's got a great following, 62.4 thousand. Cyberfrog is dope. Like, maybe I'm the one doing it wrong. Maybe I just need to sit here and come on every single time and just fucking start drama. Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe it's me. Maybe I look at these things and go, I like being an adult. And if I don't like something, I'm going to listen to my mama. And if I don't have anything nice to say, I'm not going to say anything at all. Right? And I know I went back on my own word today because I commented about this, but it just comes to a point where I'm watching it and it's like, maybe it's to me because I think it's such a fucking waste, right? Because I think it's such a waste because we have someone like, Ethan who's very talented. We have someone like John who's talented. And instead of just going on and being talented, they feel the need to go and try and tear somebody else down. You don't have to tear somebody else down to get yourself up. We can rise together. You know who needs to be torn the fuck down? Marvel. You know who needs to be torn the fuck down? DC. Their writers. The bullshit going on in Hollywood. The shit going on at Netflix. That is what needs to be torn down. Not Comicsgate, who are a bunch of independent artists that want to get away woke shit. They're a bunch of nerds like us that want to make good art and good comics. Not Ripaverse or Eric July, who is trying to, again, make a different set of comics to be an answer in another genre of superheroes, more traditional superheroes, and then making Ripasend, which is now being a publishing house to those who maybe would struggle to get published or not have the ability to send out mass amounts of comics or books or things like that. Maybe we should just support that. You don't have to fucking like it, but if you don't like it, don't say anything. Don't have a small army of fucking people that sit there and have to go after everything. As you know, as Yellow Flash is trying to sell Golden Patriot, you have an army of people talking about their sales. Who gives a fuck? Like, and John's a good writer. John writes books. John makes comics. Another one that just could be in, John's a Christian. What's very Christian about going on there and fucking being so boisterous? It's not a Christian value. Stop ripping people down to bring you up. And again, maybe I'm doing it wrong. They're the ones with bigger followings. They're both probably monetized, both probably making money on their fucking podcast and the things they do. And maybe I'm the asshole. But you know what? I can't be that way. I'll come on here. I'll say my opinion. But it's like, I'm not going to fucking drama farm. I'm not going to drama farm. It's stupid. Like I said, I just saw this. It bothered me. I said my piece. If John or Ethan see this and they want to say anything and go on and try to tear me down, go for it, guys. Go for it. If they want to come on the show and talk to me about it, I will gladly have each of them back on. But I just don't understand having to tear people down to bring you up. It makes no sense. But that's just the world we live in, I guess. And we see it with the politics, with Candace and all that bullshit. And the Israel does everything wrong crowd and them trying to create drama. And it's also in the fucking alternative comic space, right? But it makes no sense. It really doesn't. Few comments. Nate G saying you don't have to read comics you don't like. It's that simple. Don't read, don't watch, anything like that, right? We can make comments on it. If you don't like it, you can review. And I mean, I've seen Ethan give some pretty solid reviews to things, even things from people he doesn't like. So I think his reviews are fairly honest. Caveat time saying, but sometimes I get blackpilled and think the petty drama is a way to get somewhere. I mean, yeah, but I'll just go do escapism somehow else, right? Like I'll go and watch something or read something, and if I get blackpilled, or I'll just go hang out with my fucking family. My family's awesome and I love them. Caveat saying Ethan follows you. It's good. Listen, like I said, Ethan was a good dude when I talked to him. I have no problems with Ethan from our show. It's just when I see some of the shit online and it's like you've created your identity going fucking crazy and fighting with people and fighting with randoms about the Rippaverse. Like, come on now. I'm not this like peacenik. I get it. People aren't going to like each other. Whatever. If you don't like each other, if you think Eric wronged you, that's whatever. But now to try and create your whole entire fucking show. And let's be honest, Trashcast has risen because all he did for over a year was go at Rippaverse and everything they did and try and tear it apart. Which is sad. Because the Comics Gate Kings creates, I've seen some of that. Watching these people fucking draw, they're talented. I can't draw for shit. My mind's eye sees something and I fucking make a stick figure. There's nothing else there. So there is value to it. And I just wish that we would fucking use our talents and not just fucking be douchebags to each other for no reason. Nietzsche saying they're useless fighting into the void. Nerdrotic, G&G side scrollers, Ripper won. Let them fight. I know they did because there's strength in numbers, right? It's like, you can, and with like who I follow, like I choose to follow more of the same ones. Like obviously Craig's been on the show. Here we've had Epic Mike, we've had Josiah, Ben, Odin's jumped on, Drunk 3PO. So it's like they seem more fucking sane. And if I'm gonna be forced to throw in with the crowd, I'm gonna throw in with nobody because I'm neutral. But I'm gonna talk to the people I fucking like, and the people that I think are, for the most part, straight shooters and not trying to just fucking fuck everybody around them. To the point where we've seen G&G expand and grow. And, Nerdrotic with Friday Night Tights expand and grow with different people coming in and out all the fucking time. And when they go out, it's not going out and shitting. It's go on the other people. It's going out and doing their own thing and they come back, right? It's like it's rare that I've interacted with somebody that has known the G&G guys or known anyone from like the Friday Night Tights circle or the side scroller circle and has anything bad to say about Craig, Blabs, Phoenix, Jeremy, Ripa, Gary or anything like that. They don't. They're genuinely like, if they leave, they left because they were busy doing something else. But it's not like these dudes are fucking people over. And that's kind of what I've gotten from them. And they don't make it their identity to sit there and fucking try and rip people down. They just go and they talk nerdy shit with people they consider friends, or at least online friends. Caveat ties, you are the asshole, but you're our asshole. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Nate, Ethan Ralph is going on shows that are in the basement of the Dabbleverse. And I know because I'm a dabbler, these people are worthless. God, the fucking Dabbleverse. Just so you know, Nate, David wants to torture us. He has another iDubbbz video with the recap. We might do something like that tomorrow. It's like a 10-minute recap video because David fucking hates me. And Nate's saying, when Nick Rekieta, the Sector King, has to bow to the Dabbleverse for audience, you know the right side won. I mean, yeah. Nick Rekieta is another one. Someone I used to like. I used to watch Nick when the LawTube stuff happened, but fell off the fucking wagon is an understatement when it comes to Nick. But yeah, so that's all I have to say. I'm not saying this to fucking go at Ethan and John per se, but it's just like being an adult. Like, and I know John's gone on Ethan's show. He's gone on Trashcast and quit, like rage quit or something like that. And like they try, like it's so dumb. It's so fucking dumb. You can have disagreements. That's fine. That's part of being an adult, having disagreements. But to make your identity a vendetta, I don't get it. Caveat ties, I discovered Nick with the Rittenhouse trial. I think that's where we all discovered him. The LawTube really exploded. Big with the Rittenhouse trial, and there's a bunch of other trials. But I mean, we had Law of Self-Defense on here. Ron Coleman's on here, and they were both people that really jumped in when the LawTube thing exploded. But outside of that, let's see. Do I want to talk about? No, I'll talk about this stuff. I'll possibly talk tomorrow. Maybe iDubbbz video might jump on there. But all right, everyone, I'm getting out of here. I am fucking surprised my voice has lasted. You guys tell it's a little shit right now. Voice, Corona. I got a PBR, and it's not just a Corona. It's the Sunbrew. It's actually not bad. It's not like super citrusy and lame. It's pretty good. It's smooth. It is smooth. My Spanish heritage has made me like a little more of these like Spanish beers. Like Dos Equis is my jam. I will fucking drink Dos Equis all day. And I'm not a drinker. This is like, I'll maybe have a beer with you guys while I'm streaming. And just look, I started this at the beginning. It's been 2 hours. I don't fucking drink, guys. But sometimes when I'm just streaming, I like to have one and enjoy it. But yeah, so getting out of here. Like I said, I'm surprised my voice lasted this long. It sounds like shit. But I will try to be back tomorrow. Like I said, I'm trying to stream much more and they're just going to be called, I mean, I'm so original. It's just a Hangout stream. It's just what it's called, Hangout stream. I also, I want to welcome anyone that's watching or interested or sees it and you want to jump in, let's talk. You can DM me on X or something, or if you have my number, text me or anything like that and be like, hey, send the link and I'll throw you the link and come in and chat. These are just meant to hang out, shoot the shit, whether it's a past guest, whether you are just hanging out in the chat and you want to jump in. If it's a Hangout stream, people are welcome. We can run through my topics while we're here. We could talk about something you want to talk about. If you want to jump in and shoot the shit, come on in. We'll have a chat. If you're an asshole, I'll probably kick you the fuck out. because that's one of the beauties of being like the kings in the castle. But I welcome people to just jump in. You can talk about what I want to talk about if we continue to go down my list that I create, or if you have something you generally want to talk about. Let's go. Let's do it. But outside of that, everyone, I appreciate everyone that watched. Obviously, Nate and Rollin, appreciate you guys as always. Whether you watch from YouTube, X, Facebook, Kick, Rumble, I appreciate you all. Go follow us at the Alex Cuesta Show everywhere, and just make sure that you are going and liking, following, all that stuff. But all right, everyone. Thank you. Rollin, if you're available, you may. Most listen on the phone while working. Well, I appreciate that. You listen while you're working. I appreciate that, my man. But all right, everyone. Thank you so much. I am getting out of here. I hope everyone, again, had a really fun, safe new year. Here is to 2026. Let's have a great time. Let's get a little bit bigger. Maybe get monetized. That'd be nice. But let's have some fun. And I hope everyone made a resolution. My resolution this year is the same as it has been the last few years. Don't die. I was successful this year. And if I'm talking to you next year around New Year's, I was successful again. So, all right, everyone. On that note, I will catch you all later. So long.